I'm still worried, I'm concerned, but I don't think he's in any imminent danger. That's what the doctors have been saying to us. He's not out of danger, but he's not in any immediate danger. And it reminds me really, if you've had an elderly relative who's in hospital with a severe condition, you have to take it day by day, and we just don't know at the moment. We do know it's going to be a long process of healing. The infection has to be dealt with, and then it'll take time. And that's where we are at the moment. While he's convalescing, he will have to severely restrict his activities. Thereafter, it's very hard to know. I mean, I think it depends on the long-term prognosis that the doctors give him. I think he will carry on if he can. He has no problem with being a frail pope. He has no problem with doing things differently. We've seen him in a wheelchair the last few years and often having a bronchitic condition. None of this prevents him being pope. If, however, I think they said to him, look, your health is going to be a major issue from now on. You've got a severe impairment here which will require regular hospitalisation. In other words, if it's the long-term condition that he's often spoke about, that would be probably a cause for him to think about resignation. But my sense is it's way too early to even begin to think about that, because really what we've got now is a struggle over the next few weeks, and that struggle is about the infection that's there. And I think he will be thinking, this is what we've got to get through first, and then let's see. Well, I've always thought that, and many people do think, he's the kind of person who would sort of die in his boots, and there's no question that he's not the resigning type. I think his view is, as long as God wants me to do this, I will do it to the best of my abilities, and the Lord will give me the health to do it. In other words, when that health is no longer there and he's unable to, then he'll take that as a sign to stop. But his basic instinct will be to carry on. And it's something very important to say, for him, the papacy, it's a full-on thing. I mean, he doesn't take holidays. For him, as we've seen this year in the Jubilee, I mean, here we are surrounded by people, pilgrims arriving from across the world. The Pope has wanted to meet them all. And sometimes I think some of us have been saying, do you really have to meet, the Boy Scouts of Bergamo? Do you have to meet these groups? But for him, they're all children of God. They're all as important as everybody else. And so I think there's no 20% papacy for him. It's all or nothing. The Curia, or the Vatican bureaucracy, is like any bureaucracy. It always tries to plan for change. And there's definitely an atmosphere here in Rome at the moment. There's a sense of uncertainty. No organisation likes uncertainty, and if people are, of course, talking about the future, that's inevitable. The Pope, by the way, knows that. I mean, he jokes that every time he coughs, that there's an air of a conclave already. He knows this. I don't particularly sense that people are conspiring or gathering, but I think the cardinals have been aware, I would say generally, over the last few years. We are dealing with a Pope in his late 80s with a lung condition. Obviously people are going to be thinking about the future. Why wouldn't they? And that's sensible and that's right.